Hello.
We are here again, oh. This is number
again.
6. Number 6, guys. Number 6.
Six. What is 6? 6 as a number.
That's the last day that
God
God created something.
Oh, nice.
God
nice,
created
nice.
man on the 7th day. So 6 was
God
like,
created man on the 7th day.
yeah.
No, not
God
the 7th day. God rested
on
on
the
the
7th
7th
day.
day.
So that means God created man on the 6th day. See now. So 6 has a very significant number.
Yeah.
But well, welcome guys. Welcome to
guys. Welcome to the 6th episode.
Are you okay?
All right, guys. Welcome.
So guys, welcome to the 6th episode of Girls Classes God Podcast. Woo!
You were slow in it. You forgot to. But we don't do that.
So yeah, 6 is definitely, for what we have said now, you can see that 6 is a very significant number.
Yeah.
So please, if you have not seen any of our episodes, anyway, if you are new here, welcome first of all. We are happy that you are joining us. If you are joining us on number 6, this is a great time to
Go to
listen to all the other episodes that we've had. They've been very inspiring. So
welcome.
are you okay?
I'm singing a tune for our new followers. Welcome.
Oh my god,
this is so special. The other people did not receive this, just you. So
guys,
you should feel great.
thank you so much for following us so far. We really, really appreciate it. It's like we are growing, and I'm so happy that we have new people joining the family. Even our analytics shows that, and we are really happy about it. Like we used to say, please, if you are not following us, please do follow us. We appreciate people that have followed us after the last 2 episodes.
Thank you so much for engaging our content as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for following us on Instagram, our TikTok, our YouTube.
Yeah.
You can see all you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah. If you have not, please do.
Please follow us.
We still want to.
Please share
increase
as well.
the community.
As long as you're enjoying our content, please make sure you share with your friends, share with your family, share with your enemies,
Yeah. I mean, please do. Okay, so this episode is a continuation of the previous episode. Again, this has been a series on love.
Yeah.
This has been like genuinely about love. So anyway, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about community and love.
Right. We're talking about community
or
and
love
love
in the community.
So I think what brought about this conversation is the fact that we understand that Valentine's Day happened 2-3 weeks back, and then single people like us, I feel like before Valentine, people were like, single people will survive Valentine, kiniko.
Valentine's Day came and passed.
It came and passed though, but I mean, so Valentine aside,
we are all still alive.
Hallelujah, praise Jesus. So Valentine's Day aside, like how do you think, okay, so let's say singles or married or single or married or whatever. Well, how do you think community affects someone's life? Like, I mean, whether you're single, whether you're married or even have kids, how do you think that the love in a particular community or the love in having a community help your life?
I think it's a really big part of just your life in general, even when you're thinking beyond Valentine's Day or relationships, because like the very first community you had was your family, right? So it's always important for you to always be around community. So in times like this, when that it's like pepper them couples and all of that, how do you as a single person find a community? I think again, it doesn't have to now be when things like this are happening, like Valentine's Day, blah 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 blah, you start searching for a community. I think it's important for you to always be part of a community wherever you are. So it's a different thing if you are coming into a new place and you don't have a community yet and Valentine's Day is happening, all those that's just like a warning. What kind of probability is that? But it's important that you find a community wherever you are. And if you notice one thing, couples actually find, you see people, like we know people that have gotten married and they'll tell you that when they started having kids and stuff like that, it seems like they stopped hanging out with their, not like they stopped hanging out with their single friends, but it's easier for them to hang out more with like other married couples that have children, because they are living similar lives. They can relate to what they're talking about and all of that. So even you as a single person, I think it's important for you to have a community, be part of a community, not just have a community, because we talked about values, right? And how everybody has a purpose. You as a person, you should be adding value in one way or another in your community. So even if you're in a place where it feels like, you don't have people like you, or you don't have people who have similar interests and things like that, you can build it. Because even right now we have social media, and social media helps a lot, because you can literally talk to people across the world while not being there. So sometimes it might not be possible for you to have that physical community, but you can have it in other ways. You can have an online community, close knit. You guys can have jump on calls together and things like that. So it will be a secondary school debater in Nigeria. The presence of community cannot be overemphasized.
Okay, yeah, that's absolutely true. Because the thing is, even before you get married, you were somebody. Yeah. And you had a group
Your identity
of people.
should not be lost just because
you have a group of people. So I mean, Valentine or no Valentine, you have a group of, and I think, you know, community comes through for you when okay, let's say for instance you don't have somebody that you're in a relationship with or that you're dating. That should do now be that time that you now say, my life is lonely. You have friends now, and there are friends that are willing to hang out. Like, well, even if you don't have money to say, oh, let's go to this place, like host something in your house, like call people together, have a movie night, I mean, obviously it's not every time that you do things like that, but obviously there'll be times when you just be like, oh, let's just hang out, let's just have a movie night, let's just hold a watch party,
go for a picnic,
for something, you know. So okay, so let's say, so you mentioned that the basic form of community is your family. So how else can you build family? I think about how, so the thing is, well, when you are growing up, you go to secondary school, you meet friends. You go to uni, you meet friends. You go to, you know, business school, or you get your masters, you meet friends. So that way you are building, you know, a group of people. Obviously, it's not everybody that you meet. And it's not every people that you met last year, or people that you met 10 years ago in secondary still relate
that
with.
you still talk to. Yeah. There are times when you have to like distance apart. Sometimes too, proximity also creates opportunities for you to befriend people, because there are times when you know somebody from afar, but you guys just see yourselves. Maybe sometimes even in church, like, oh, it's just like a hi kind of thing. But when you guys are forced to work together or forced to work in close quarters, you realize that, oh wow, I can't believe this person actually thinks like me, thinks about certain things, like we are very similar and things like that. So I would say, you know, I was going to mention something, but I think it has actually skipped my mind. But when I remember it, I'll come back to it.
So I'm going to say that even though distance might, you know, they say 20 years, people cannot play, 20 friends cannot play for 20 years. I'm sure there are still people that have been consistent in your life for like, you know, some time. That the people that you call, people that, you know, you can say, this person has been my childhood friend, this person that, you know, so those are the kind of community that you build. And you know, we're talking about influence, like in the last few episodes, influence comes from your community. You cannot just stand up tomorrow and say, I'm calling, like the first set of people that you call if you need something, and people that are literally your own people, right? Before you now start growing, and then somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, and then you get things done. So it's actually very important to you know, have a community. So my next thing will now be,
before you ask a question, so when you were talking, I just remembered something that was not what I was going to talk about originally. But if you remember this girl that broke the world record for the longest cooking time, what's her name?
Dabasi.
Yes, Udabasi. If you remember, you know, when the whole thing was happening, people started rallying together. Because it felt like, you know, people that had known her, people that didn't know her, because it was an inspiring story. But the truth of the matter is that if she didn't have a community, supporters that were carrying it on their head, it's not possible for people to have been like, you know, it spread like a fever, like it was like a wildfire. People came together and everything. And after she won after she like broke the record and all of that, even before Guinness announced it, and we knew that she was going to win the record, you know, people started looking back at her track record and saying, oh, it's not just now. She started preparing for this thing. She started, I think maybe, was it not 2 years beforehand? She was already working out, creating stamina. She was building a community for herself, like building a brand image and things like that. So again, community does not just happen at once. It takes time. It's a process. So you can go to your question.
I can't remember. You've lost my train of thought.
Sorry,
but I think one of the things that we can talk about is like, how do you think people can build a community? So we've talked about, you know, primary school, you know, apart from like the school part, which is what a lot of people go through, what other platforms or how else do you think people can build a community? So
for me, I think I mentioned this during one of the earlier episodes. I think maybe the very first episode, and I talked about how church is always a safe space for me. But I think again, if you have interests, if there are things that you are interested in, because like I can speak for Nigeria, not Nigeria, I can speak for like the US now. There are a lot of communities around. So if you decide now that maybe, okay, I like reading books, you can just go online and find a book club.
Yeah.
So like that's another way for you to like, and even if you can't even find a book club, start a book club and find other people that like to read books as well. So you can even start with an online. So depending on how let's say social you are, even if you can't find people in like in your local, like your physical locations, it's like, okay, you can start a book club online and say, post it on your Instagram, like, oh, I want to start a book club. If you're interested in joining me, we are reading this, and people will find you. People will find, because they are finding you based on your interest, because you have to be very genuine for people to want to be around you.
Yeah.
So you have to have similar interests. So for example, I like books, and I can say, oh, I'm interested in going to a book club, or I like, go to Bible study. You can meet people, or maybe you are the kind of person that likes to work out, go to the gym, join like a fitness club, or join you like to run, join the running club, or even sometimes too, it's also important to try new things as well, because it's very easy to say, oh, nothing is happening for me, I can't easily, like, and it happens sometimes. I won't say it doesn't happen, but I think it's also important for you to think about what are the places that, there are things that you also imagine that you want to do. So I don't know if you remember that there was this bubble race wanted to do. So I've been thinking about it, that I actually want to run a marathon once in my life. But you don't just
you have to prepare for a marathon.
You have to prepare for a marathon. And I'm already thinking about, okay, maybe I will join like a class, or maybe I will join like, there are people that cycle together regularly and things like that. So there are some things that you might think about in your head that, oh, I wish I want to do this thing, or I wish to do this thing. So and it's uncomfortable, because when was the last time I ran? Maybe when I was in secondary school. So it's going to be very uncomfortable for me to say, oh, I want to start running again and things like that. But first of all, it's okay, take that step and say, okay, even though I'm not comfortable with this thing, let me sign up for like a class, or let me sign up for this, or let me sign up for that, and show up consistently. I think one thing that is this irregular thing in some of our videos is consistency, right? So I'll say those are like the steps that you can take to building a community for yourself, or ingraining yourself into a community.
Absolutely. This episode is a prelude to our next series, by the way, which is about friendship. So I want to ask you something about, community and friendship. Does community equate friendship?
Not all the time.
Okay.
Not all the time, because I think I'm somebody who takes friendships very seriously, and everybody should take friendships very seriously. But I run with a smaller, tighter circle. So just because we are in the same space or in the same location, or we see ourselves regularly, does not also mean that we have, like, we might be friends, but it does not mean we have a strong friendship. So I think there are different levels to friendship. That's what I think will be the summary of what I'm trying to say. There are different levels of friendship, and if I call you a friend, like I can call you a friend, but it's just like we see ourselves. I think that's even more like an acquaintance. We see ourselves in passing. We don't really know much about each other, but it's like, oh, hi, I know you come to maybe this club, and I see you, and we say hi, and we can socialize. But I really don't know anything. I don't know your house. I really don't know anything about you. I don't know anything about your dreams. I don't know anything about what you're working towards in life. So like, I can't call you a friend if I don't know what you're working towards in life. So the people that I can call friends are people that I know that we've had discussions about what's the next step for you. What are you doing in your life right now? So because you're part of a community doesn't necessarily mean everybody there is your friend, or it does not automatically equate friendship. It's a good place to start in finding like friendships, but it does not mean that automatically. You have to still work for it. Friendship is a lot of work, and yeah, that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I think I like where you said it's a good place to start, because the thing is, so for instance, building it's very easy to, be part of a community, but it's harder to even build friendship.
Yeah.
But I think I get what you said about, it's a good way to start. So it's like, just like it's basically echoing what you said. When you find yourself, especially when you find yourself in a new environment, right? And again, people go through, especially people that move from their comfort zone into a new place entirely. And I think we spoke about this in one of our episodes about how you can't live life alone, right? When you get into a new environment, it is so easy to imagine moving into an entirely new environment when you don't know anybody as a single person. Like, you literally, even people, people that are going as a married, at least you are two.
You can still talk to yourself.
Yeah, you are sleeping and waking up, people are just yourself about. But imagine that you don't even have anybody now everybody is jackpine, so it looks like we have more and more
People
people
around.
coming. But imagine that you're in a place where there are still places that people don't really go to, and then let's say you are in that kind of
Or
a
even
place.
locations where there are not a lot of people like you.
Yeah. So how do you build a network and now start building friendship like that? So I think I'll just say basically what we said before. Look for something that you are interested in. If it's church, join a unit, be involved. So again, you have to step out in a way of your comfort zone. You have to be involved in something. And again, when you show up for people, they show up for you. And some people, it's not everybody that'll show up for you, but trust me, you can't be that person that people know that this person shows up, and if you now need something, nobody will show up for you. A lot of times it doesn't work that way. But if you're the kind of person that shows up for people, when they are doing something, you're like, oh yeah, I can help. People know you, right? So when it's time for something, then people, you are creating a mindset of, oh, this person is dependable in the mind of people. So when it's time for you to do something, you imagine how somebody would do birthday, for instance, and a lot of people will just show up for them.
Or even weddings, and you're like, how do you know so many people?
And people, it's not even people that are around you. Some people will travel, like spend a lot of money. Why do you think it's because people don't have anything to do? No, it's because people have seen that this person has a particular value. It could be in a community of people, it could be anywhere. Again, whatever your hand finds to do it with your mind. If you're in a community, be part of the community. When people are mentioning that, they will be like, no, we know this person, so from there you now start building friendship. You now start knowing like-minded, because obviously a community is just a group of people. So from there you now start building friendship with people that you now have things in common with.
You have deeper relationships.
Exactly. So I think we've talked about these things before, that having friends as adults is hard.
It's hard. Like having
having genuine
starting new friendships at this stage of your life, it's one of the hardest things. But let's hold that thought. I remember I was going to say that there are two people that come to mind immediately for me when you think about people that show up for other people. Like one of them is Derek. Derek, if you have anything happening, Derek. And even another person that comes to mind again is Kachi. And I was talking to Kachi recently, and he was just telling me about how he found his mentor and everything. And I was just telling him that, and he was telling me that, oh, he's this. And I was like, Kachi, only you will literally when he was telling me about how, I was like, Kachi, only you will literally meet somebody. I think he said he was studying for an exam in maybe 2018 or something, and from there you're now in the person's house, and I'm like, Kachi, only you will actually meet somebody randomly and become their study partner, and suddenly you are best friend.
But that is a gift, Sha.
It's honestly another gift, because Kachi, shout out to you, because
some people are like that. Some people are like extrovert. Some people, again, I would say
Kachi will tell you he's not an extrovert.
Oh, no, I don't believe it. It's not possible. So
no, but it's possible.
No, it's not.
It's
Kachi is
possible.
not an introvert. That I know. Kachi is not an introvert.
Are you Kachi?
Oh, please. He's not. You don't. Kachi is not an introvert, because Kachi is somebody that if you come here today and you are new, he's one of the first people to talk to you.
Yeah.
And he's a gift. So that's exactly what I want to say, that I don't want to use that as a benchmark of so I get what you're saying about when you shop for people know that, oh, this person is there
reliable
for me, and then they shop for you. But I won't also use that as a benchmark, because some people have that gift of just talking and clicking with people.
I think it's like charisma. Is it charisma that is the right word? They just have a way of talking to people, and
they have that,
people just love them.
Imagine somebody new, and then you just go and talk to people, and then you just genuinely, and not honest, not everybody can do it. I feel, in my opinion, I feel like some people have that gift. I feel like some people have special gifts.
It's a gift. It's a gift because when somebody else tries to do it, it doesn't land the same. It doesn't land the same.
It's not the same. But that being said, it's just, I think the bottom line of all these examples and everything that we are trying to say and draw out is that just be there for people. Be there for people. Kachi is just different.
Kachi is a special breed, honestly.
People turn off for him for different things, and I'm like,
and it turns off for people as well. It's like the way he's able to build. I was telling him when we were talking, and he was telling me, oh, something, and he's like, oh, I met this person during the conference in 2020, and I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
how were you able to maintain
that
those kind of connections that now is yielding results? And the truth is that you are not doing it with the mindset of, I can see that the future will be big.
You
so let me
know the
connect with
future
you
now.
now. So that's
2018.
it. Yeah.
Till now. So I think, it's just very, very important. Be kind to people, literally. Be kind to people. And like I said, not everybody has the gift of, having like a million people that when you meet with them, you just click with them. But even the people that you are with currently, that you are involved with right now, at least let them know that, this person is being kind to me and this person is adding value to me.
So one thing about, we're talking about how friendships are hard, and maybe we'll talk about that last before I talk about after I talk about this. And I was going to say that, I know that a lot of people who listen to us are probably like young professionals, maybe students and things like that. And you're also wondering like, what are the other ways you can build community or be part of a community? And like be involved in like go for conferences.
Yeah.
Be part of like a professional network. So when you are part of all those things, like, we're in business school now, they're like business communities that you can be part of. There are conferences that happen that you can be part of. There's somebody that I connected with from like my last place of work, and she was telling me about how I think she's studying something related to engineering, and she's like, there's a big engineering conference that happens, blah 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 blah. That's the way to meet people and things like that. So when you go for conferences and you attend and you are fully engaged and involved, you will meet people. Like you might just be sitting down. When we even went for the Harvard conference, like we met people, you might just be sitting down. We even met some people that we went to school with.
Yeah.
So you might just be sitting down. Like we met one other girl, can't remember the nurse that we met. So you might just be sitting down, you might just like, you will just click with somebody. Like you guys might just be like, oh wow, this speaker is really amazing. And from there you guys click, and you've created like you've widened your network with one more person. Like
true.
So engage with all those things. Sometimes it can be like, school is tough, or a lot of classes, or blah 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 blah, but try and like intentionally create all those opportunities for yourself, because at this stage, we're saying adult friendships are hard. Like you have to go in search of those friendships. So they happen in like the unlikeliest of ways, basically.
Well, that's absolutely correct. And we've talked about community. Now that we're talking about friendship, we'll dive deeper. We'll dive deeper into friendship and different kinds of friendship. But I think again, the most important thing is everybody wants to be friends with someone who is reliable, someone who has integrity, someone who obviously who
they can be proud of.
Yeah, who they can be proud of, but I think also have the same like values and mindset as they do. So that's like one important thing. But apart from that, I think the whole point of being reliable, being valuable, being selfless, being thoughtful also comes to mind. So friendship is, again, as an adult, it's not the easiest thing, but I'll say it takes time. It's not impossible. Like in actual fact, like when I see these Nigerian celebrities, how they show up and turn up for each other, I'm like, wow, this is really nice. This is something that I don't think was there before now. Yeah. Like you see people beefing themselves.
I think it was there actually, because if you remember this Funke Akindele's documentary that she was talking about how on set it used to be like they were all friends and things like that. Maybe it was there, but it wasn't like as.
I don't know, Sha. Like you see people come on social media. Like I remember when the election thing happened, and then people were following different people, obviously, and then there were a lot of banters, people coming in public to like embarrass themselves and say things about people that you think, oh, these people are friends. Like they were now embarrassing themselves and saying different. And I'm like, are you people not friends? Like so it's like, again, there's always that beef of the competition that comes with before. Now this collaboration with it is happening now more than before. More people are now collaborating with each other. Like how many collaborations used to be before? All the celebrities now, somebody will call party, you see everybody
all of them
go and show up for them. So I feel like that's a very great thing to happen. But again, it comes with time. It comes with a track record of showing that this person is somebody that I actually do want to become friends with.
Yeah, true. I echo everything you say, and I think community leads to friendship sometimes. Oftentimes, if you know how to, or if you look at it in the right way, I would say. Or and again too, you also need to be somebody that, okay, we're saying join a community, but join a community with the intention to add value. Talk about value a lot. But you can't just like...
Not always to take.
Not always, Also give something. Because people can see all these things. You might think, you can smell it from hiding afar, your intentions or whatever. But most people can see it and be like, you are being like really shady about, things like that. So go there with the intention of, oh yeah, you want to get community, but you also want to make sure that you are living, like you have an impact, however little it is, however, there's no impact that is not felt, right? So you might think you are doing the smallest thing, but people will appreciate it at the end of the day. So you don't just think of, oh, I want to go there for like, okay, I'm joining a club just so that I can have friends. Like you can, it's not like it's not going to happen, but if you're not going there with a genuine mindset of, oh, I want to learn, depending on what kind of club it is or what kind of I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to this, because like she said, values. So if your value is I'm greedy to take, other people that they are just there to like give, they can see it and they won't respond to it. So at the end of the day, you will not be the kind of person that now comes online and you're saying, oh, they say this, or this community, they are bad people or blah blah, or they start ranting online. Yeah,
you're a good person yourself. So, and I mean, I'm not even saying that things don't happen. Some people, things happen to people. Some people do stuff about people, but again, just check yourself. Yeah, it's very important. Now, let me ask you, before we round off this one. So, have you had a situation or a scenario where community turned up for you?
Have I had a situation or scenario where community turned up for me? Yes, definitely. But I'm trying to think of maybe a more recent example.
Yeah, it might not be recent.
So I think when I was, we talked about since coming to America, but when I was traveling, because I was being pretty low-key about it, even though I was being pretty lucky about it. Let's say I was being pretty lucky about it, and it was really cool that a lot of people were reaching out. That a lot of people were like, how can I help? How can I assist? I mentioned it earlier that Omo even came around. Like she was working, she was on call, but when I was having issues with my luggage and everything, she helped me arrange my bag. That's why now my mom would call and be like, is that your friend? My dad would say, is that your short friend? So there are times like that community shows up. And I think another thing that comes to mind again is even I think when I was leaving work, like when I had resigned and all of that. And I remember I told you that when I first came, it was like, oh, I didn't really know what to do, because it was like, oh, I came, but I didn't know what to do because I didn't really know. I was in that position. No, I was put in a new branch, new position, new promotion, whatever. And it felt like I didn't know how to add value and all of that. But it was like, okay, stick to what you're doing, all of this. I was butted heads with some people. But, at the end of the day, when I was leaving, it like threw a party for me and all of that. And somebody mentioned something and she was like, oh, I like the way you handle problems. Because when like other people, when they handle problems, they'll just tell you that, oh, this thing has a problem. But when you're coming to tell people, she was saying, when I'm coming to tell people I have a problem, I'm like, oh, this thing has a problem, but this is how you can solve it. Get this, and this, and this. And that was something that I really felt, happy about and strongly about, because when I was coming to that place, I didn't come with the intention of, I just felt like it's just one of these things where you are transferred to a new place. But at the end of the day, I felt like my voice was heard even in that space. Yeah. So and yeah. So what kind of experience do you have? So
I mean, again, talking about not exactly like friendship now. You talk about friendship, community. So not talking about community, two things come to mind. I remember, just like you said, when I was leaving too, I was a worker in TCN at TCN, the Covenant Nation, and I was in the ushering team. I was very quiet. It was at that time that I was even beginning to like gel with people, because that time I used to travel a lot, so I wasn't really always around and things like that. But anytime I was around, I was always showing up and things like that. So I remember I was leaving, they made a short video for me. I don't even know if I still have it. They made a video for me. Then they sent it. It was myself and one other person going to Canada, and then like it was a customized video of like, thank you for all that you have. And at that point I didn't feel like I was doing a lot of things, but just like you said that, oh, you were being seen and heard, it was exactly that way. And then I still have people from there who like once in a while, still it's been almost 3 years now, still check up and say, oh, what the lead was even messaging me a few days. I was like, oh, I was in Canada, I'm in the US, we'll connect. So I just like to not bump bridges, like have like one person. And then the other part was when I remember one of my birthdays when I was working in Nigeria, when it was, so we were planning a fun thing amidst us associates and things like that, and then it was my birthday and we're like, let's fix it. It's not like I had any plan for my birthday anyway. And then that was like one of the most fun I had with my co-workers at work. Like it was awesome. Like I still have videos from bees where we did that stupid
Jerusalem
Jerusalem dance. That's like a fish, but you know, so memories like that. Like that day we connected, we played games. Like people came, who were so happy. Then one of my coworkers gave me a cake, you know, and then it was team activity. But at the end of it, was not centered around happy birthday, Ebun. And you know, again, it's just like having people till today. You know, I always say that everywhere I've worked or everywhere I've done something, I always still have people that I can, like, if I ever need anything
something.
or you know, like I can still say, how far, whatever, and they would listen to me, you know. So that's one of those things that a community, and again, is like, you won't, if you are not adding value, nobody if you call party, nobody will even listen to you.
Show up.
You know, nobody will show up for you.
If you even live in a particular place, people will not even notice that you are gone,
my dear. So yeah, those are like two instances. If you have, you know, stories of how you made deep friendships from a community, or how a community has showed up for you to encourage other people, please share with us. Send us an email. If you check our social media platforms, I think on all social media platforms we are Girls Glasses God Pod. So TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. On Instagram, you see our Gmail account there, so you can send us emails.
Tell us about your stories. So what's your daily dose of EO?
Is be involved, show up. I always say this there, but show up and show up well. Show up and show up well. Be that kind of person that people can trust, that you're reliable, and I want to say another one, but I'll keep it for later. But show up and show up well.
Okay, I'll say mine is to be genuine. I think people can always tell when you have ulterior motives with them, with creating friendships with them, or with creating any kind of relationships with them. So in everything that you are doing, in your showing up, in your involvement, in your community, be genuine about being a part of that community. Be genuine about the things that you have to do. Be genuine about even your intentions towards other people. So that's my daily dose of EO for today.
Alrighty, thank you so much for listening to us.
Yes, this has been another episode of the Girls Glasses God podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.